Videos presented by newwoodworker.com. Stacked dado sets are great tools for making things like rabbets and dados, but like a lot of tools, there's a few things that we can tell you about them to make using them easier. Stacked dado sets have two outer blades that have a lot more teeth than the chippers that go between them. It's important that one of these outer blades be installed on each side of the stack. Most sets will include 4 1/8-inch thick chippers, one chipper that's a 1/16 of an inch thick, and one that's 3/32 of an inch thick. Along with the 1/8-inch thick outer blades, this selection of thicknesses lets you set up for just about any kind of wood thickness you're going to need. Some arbors will have a valley between where the threads start and the smooth part of the arbor's shank ends. In some cases, the thinner chippers can actually fall into that valley and hang out of line with the rest of the chippers, and that can make a groove in the bottom of the dado. When adding chippers or blades to the stack, you want to make sure that teeth next to each other are not in contact. We have to stagger them. These teeth are designed to overlap just a little bit. When we add a new blade to the stack, we want to make sure that its teeth are in between the ones right next to it. If the teeth on two blades are right next to each other are aligned, they press together when we tighten the stack down, and that can cause them to chip or break off altogether. As you add blades to the stack, just make sure that you stagger the teeth with the one that went before it, and just keep staggering the teeth with each piece that you add to the stack. Before I tighten the stack down, I always go back over it and make sure that nothing moved, that I don't have two teeth lined up with each other. When I tighten the nut on my stacked dado, I hold the stack with a piece of wood. That prevents the blades from turning while I'm tightening the nut so they don't accidentally line up two of the teeth. When installing the nut, it's very important that at least one or two threads sticks out of the nut. If we don't have a thread or two sticking out of the nut, it loses some of its holding power. And I can promise you don't want to see what happens when a stacked dado set comes loose. A washer behind the nut would be nice, but it's more important to have the thread sticking out of the nut. Most believe that a dado depth of 1/3 of the thickness of the wood that it's cut into is more than enough. I've been using that formula for well over 30 years, and I've yet to have anything come apart. It's a very good idea to draw out both sides of the dado that you want to cut. You wouldn't believe how many people, including me, have lined up the dado stack on the wrong side of a layout line. Getting in a hurry here is a good way to wreck a bunch of wood. One of the truly frightening things that I see people do, including some on TV, is pushing a piece of wood across a dado stack with their bare hands. I don't care how much I like the guy on TV, this is dumb. Even though the dado set is buried in the wood, there's not a whole lot of wood left between you and it. If that wood breaks, gets kicked out, or whatever happens, you want more than just your hand to shove down on that dado set. Whenever I'm cutting dados, I always use these push blocks that you get with joiners. These blocks are very comfortable to use, and they give you a good grip on the wood, a lot better than you get with a bare hand. Sometimes you have to use shims to correct the width of a stack to fit a piece of wood. This fin is what happens when you stack all the shims you need in between one set of blades. I never put more than 1 or 2 shims in one place. I distribute them throughout the stack, and this doesn't happen. This side had the shims distributed, this side didn't. Another good thing to do is to measure your completed dado stack, and then measure the width of the groove that it actually cuts. If you know what that difference is, and even record it where you can find it again, the next time you have to build that stack, it'll go a lot faster. If you take the time to get familiar with your stacked dado set and some of the tricks for setting it up, making dados and rabbets is a lot more fun and a lot more accurate.